We're here at Granny's Legacy Patterns today to talk about our February Belle Pull block of the month. And this is what it will be. It's this cute little design with tulips shaped like a carrot and a darling bow and carrot tops. So what I'd like to talk about is the stitching for the carrot tops. They are so cute and they really build up and add a lot of dimensions. So I'd like to talk about how we accomplish that. So I am going to remove the carrot tulips out of the way and our pretty little blue bow out of the way. And when you get your pattern, please follow your pattern. Don't try to just watch this video and decide I know it all. Because, of course, the pattern will show the steps we take and whether to use 1 or 2 strands of thread and the stitches we use and also how to start it. So we started by putting a rectangle on. I've used 2 strands of this beautiful pale green and did that, and then I did my press and seal, and the press and seal you receive will not have all these stems. Any of you know that have used press and seal, if we try to do all these stems at one time with press and seal, it's almost impossible to pull it out from in between. So your press and seal will probably have this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then you can go in with your marker, and this is an iron-off marking pen, and it's very simple to draw another one in beside the one you already have there. But if you do your press and seal first and then go back and add a couple extra stems, it really builds it up. And it's really fun because we've used this fun 019 limey color and the 0560 grass here. And so it really gives it a lot of dimension by using 2 completely different greens to accomplish this. And then you'll also, the press and seal will have these top chain stitches on there too. And then you go back in and add the fly stitching, straight stitching, and little lazy daisies. So today I'm going to talk about the tools I use and how to accomplish these cute carrot tops because they're really fun to do. Actually, it's really fun just to get set up with all the product you need and then just sit and keep adding. And you could add as much carrot top to yours as you want or as little. If you want it airy and a lot less, that's fine. Or you can keep building and building. If it were mine, for me, I would keep adding and adding and adding until it was just too over the top. And I know many of you with the Belle Pull, it's so pleasing for Katie and I to see how much confidence you gain and how you're adding and making each piece your own. That's lots of fun for us. So I've got my little gold scissor in my lap app, and I have my lap app on my lap here. And I also I always keep in my box, so I've got my thread box here, the little thread hook by Granny's Legacy. So if you get a ball of thread and it's difficult to get that started, you can poke that in there and get the thread started. And I have all the threads pulled that I need for this project. I also have the blue pen, and Katie, remind me,
It's an Iron Away marking pen.
Iron Away marking pen, and the brand name?
Those ones, we have several different kinds, but those ones, I believe, are the Dritz.
The Dritz, okay. And then my favorite new needle, because we're not able to get my old favorite needle, is Scarlet.
And I actually like them better than the old ones.
I'm so glad that we're not able to get the old ones because I absolutely love these. So we have size 7 and size 8. And remember, in needles, 7 is larger than 8. 8 is a smaller needle, 7 is a bigger needle. So the difference is the eye. The 8 will have a little bit smaller eye than the 7. So I prefer the 8. It's easier on my arthritic hands to pull it through. However, if you have trouble threading, you may wish to choose the 7. So that's a personal preference. I actually have both of them in the side of my lap app, I have on my lap app a mat on the bottom, and then I have stick my needles in the side here. So that's ready to go. So I got it too far away, too close to. So I'm ready to start stitching here, and I'm going to show how I add extra to the bell pull. So I have a piece of 0560 green, and you can see I don't start with a real long piece of thread. That's I've talked about this before in classes. If you use too long of a piece of thread, as you stitch, your thread tends to wear out, and so your thread gets thinner and thinner until your stitches do not look even any longer. So I choose maybe 24 inches to start with, and so I've got, so I laid the base with the press and seal. I had these chain stitches done with the press and seal, remove the press and seal, and then the rest of them I've drawn in as I go. I just draw one in where I think it might go. And sometimes I have the green, light green on top, and sometimes I have the dark green on top. So that adds a lot of dimension when you can layer one on top of the other. So I don't know, I think I kind of have a hole in here. It'd be kind of fun to put one that's kind of misbehaving and leaning down maybe there. So not all of them have to be perfect. And also I have added some bigger stitching up here, and I'll go back and talk about that next. But so chain stitch, if this was a longer stem, I'd chain stitch a little bit of it and then do this on the top. So you'll have combination of both. So here's a fly stitch, and you have your straight back stitch to begin with, and then just down and up. It's so fun to do. It's an easy stitch to accomplish. And I don't want them too close together, because when they're too close together, there's no room for the lazy daisy that we're going to go back and stick in there. So I'm going to add that in like that, and then connect it to the stem here. I might do one more, I think, before I connect it. And this one's going to layer right over the top of the other one, because that often happens. They layer on top. And then the last one's going to go right down into my chain stitch to connect it. And then I'm going to come back and add some tiny little lazy daisies in here. And they can be big or little, however you decide. And just add the lazy daisies in. Kind of think this is kind of a little branch, so I'm going to add some little lazy daisies. Now you can go every single one, but I found it looks better to add them, not every other one crisscross, but so I might have two on one side and then skip one, or put one on this side and then go here to this one. And up here I might want to put one on both sides. This is just kind of fun. Just do what you think looks good. I might want to put one up here at the top. I usually like to put one on the top for some reason. It just kind of fills that top in. It makes it looks like a carrot branch, carrot top. And then I look at it and decide, I need one more down here. I'm going to go back and add one down here. So that's kind of how I added and made the little carrot branches, each separate one. Now, I think what I'm going to do, so I'm going to look at the back of my work. Isn't that something? All the branches I put in there. So it's kind of fun to just keep adding and adding and adding. What I'd kind of like to do now is up here, because this branch I felt was sometimes carrot branches, I looked on the internet under images, are really strong at the top. So I'm going to take a little bit of the 019, thread my needle, and I forgot my thread wax at home on my counter. But if you have some Granny's Legacy thread wax, it's nice to put that on here, on your thread. Run it through the thread wax. Do the knot. And I'm looking at this branch up here, and I think it needs some more little ones laid on top so it looks more three-dimensional. And I find I like to start at the bottom and work my way up, but you can do however you'd like. Also, when you do these, if you're going on top of a chain stitch, if you're adding, like this went on top of the chain stitch for a while, so I did the fly stitch till the chain stitch started, and then I just did straight stitches in, so it didn't distort my chain stitch. So let's do a couple little tiny ones on top of this and see if it builds up and makes more three-dimensional. I think that would be fun to make it look more three-dimensional, and keep adding and adding, and it just keeps layering until it really looks like it's coming right up off the top. And don't pull them too tight when you're building up. If you want it to look more three-dimensional, you will not want to pull those lazy daisies too tight. And you can see my second layer on top of the bottom layer is smaller. And just keep adding and adding. And you know, the other thing with this variegated thread, it's really fun to go back and layer on top, because you might have a pale green on top of the darker part of the thread, or a darker part on top of your lighter part. So then it really is like watercolor painting. You're really adding dimension and color and texture, and you can really make this be incredible just by keep layering and adding as much as you like until you think it looks perfect. So I hope this is helpful for you on building up your carrot tops on the February Bell Pull Club. So thank you for joining us here today at Granny's Legacy Patterns, and happy stitching.